Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is another in the 10-minute tip series of recorded programs. This one is titled How to Become More Effective and Efficient Leading and Supervising Your Credit Team. My name is Michael Dennis. Let's jump in. By way of introduction, I am convinced that people are a company's most valuable asset and people are a department's most valuable resource. With that in mind, I think it's obvious that we need to find, attract, and retain the best and brightest people we possibly can. Why? Well, if for no other reason than this, because star performers regularly outproduce and outperform their coworkers. I'm also convinced that every supervisor and every manager both needs and wants to be more effective and more efficient in supervising members of their team. And that is the purpose of today's presentation. How to find the best and brightest people. Tip number one, just consider using the local college job posting board or job bank to find entry-level candidates. Or alternatively, you may want to offer a summer internship program or a work-study program to promising candidates. I'm actually a huge advocate of using an employee referral program. That's one of those programs where you ask your existing workforce to recommend candidates for a position. Kind of implied in their recommendation is the idea that they vouch for the candidate and their fitness for the position. Typically, employee referral programs come with a bonus for the existing employee when their recommended candidate is hired, but that's a little price to pay in the context of hiring someone who comes with that recommendation from an existing employee. Another way to identify and contact and close with and hire the best and brightest people is to use a headhunter. Now, that's clearly an expensive proposition and arguably far more expensive than employee referral programs, but again, still worth consideration, depending, of course, on the importance of the job that you're hiring for. Perhaps you might not use a headhunter for a entry-level new account clerk, but you might consider a headhunter for the department manager position. If you want to find the best and brightest people, don't settle. Specifically, don't settle for a candidate that does not meet your minimum day one written job requirements. How to retain employees. So there are a variety of retention strategies. One is to pay them using, for example, stock options or performance bonuses or other types of monetary rewards. Another way to retain employees is to be more flexible. For example, offer flexible working hours or potentially more flexible working hours than the ones they're working now. In addition, consider offering members of your team a choice of assignments and/or opportunities for training. And if you want to retain employees, it's essential that you do more than simply say the words. It's important that you actually commit to promoting from within. And finally, in connection with retaining employees, evaluate the members of your team honestly and accurately. I mentioned earlier in this presentation how important I thought it was to recognize superior performance and superior performers. Make sure that your best employees receive the biggest share of raises and/or bonuses, and nurture your best people. Make sure that you tell them, make sure you tell your best employees that you appreciate them, you appreciate their efforts, you appreciate their diligence, you appreciate their work, you appreciate their contributions. Especially for your best and brightest, consider offering them a choice of assignments. And in addition, meet regularly with your top performers to make sure that you're engaged with them and they continue to be engaged with you. It's been a while, but one of the studies that I read about superior performers said something like this: the top 10% of people on your team typically outperform other team members by as much as twice to three times. At least for me, Learning how much more productive top performers were was all the justification I needed to invest the time, energy, and effort necessary to keep them, and I hope the same applies to you if you're a supervisor or a manager. So, arguably, the opposite side of recognizing and rewarding top performers involves coaching poor performers. It's important to remember that the goal of any coaching process is to correct the problem, not to create coaching as a precursor to termination. In this context, coaching refers to a wide variety of actions and activities and techniques that are intended to improve an employee's performance. The good news is that occasionally all that's required in the context of performance is a brief discussion between the manager and the employee, and that discussion is enough to motivate the employee to do better. And as I said, that happens occasionally. Unfortunately, often addressing and resolving performance problems is both difficult and time consuming. And in every case, coaching typically involves training, mentoring, and offering timely and candid feedback to the employee. How to set performance goals. In my opinion, we need to develop goals with team members rather than setting goals for members of our team. Once goals have been set and agreed upon and published, employees should be expected to monitor their own performance. Why? Because by monitoring their performance, this, in a very real sense, makes them accountable for their performance and for any performance shortfalls. And of course, in order to monitor their performance, they have to have access to the information or the tools necessary to do so, and that would be the obligation of their supervisor or manager to ensure they have those tools to enable them to regularly monitor their performance against the goals that have been established with them. I think it's important that every member of the team have more than one stretch goal. Why? Because if the goals set are easily accomplished, these goals don't encourage excellence. If you have two or more stretch goals, then the employee has to focus energy, effort, and attention in order to achieve those goals. In other words, easy to achieve goals encourage complacency, and complacency, unfortunately, in the job we do, discourages effort and innovation and productivity and efficiency within the department and for that individual. Well, thank you for listening. I do hope that you found this program to be interesting and informative. If you'd like to hear the entire 1 hour presentation on this topic, please contact my sponsor, the Wisconsin Credit Association. And thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.